Like the call this meeting in order. Any public comment related to the agenda items? Unheard. Item for information. Financial, Mr. Reed.
You. All right, review of December monthly financial reports provided. The first is the bills to be paid listing from December and up through this meeting. If you have any questions on a check or vendor, please let me know. The number one report is the balance sheet report. This reflects the district's asset, liabilities, and fund balance for all funds. Our main focus during the year is typically on the general fund and specifically the cash and investment balances to ensure sufficient cash flow to cover payroll and operations. Currently, the general fund cash is sufficient for the rest of this school year. The number two is your bank balance report. This report captures the monthly bank activity at a high level for all the district accounts. Number three is your revenue account summary. Provides the budget to actual for each general fund revenue account at a high level. The local and state revenues exceeded budget and prior year's actuals. Because of the state passing the budget, we got caught up from revenues that were behind and that weren't doing that. So the local revenue is an increase in the tax for the December. This is allowing us to still continue to be in a good place. And as I said, the state revenue at 6.5 million, it should say increase, I apologize, is due to the state being passed late. With the budget passed, the state subsidies are caught up now, allowing the district to continue in a good place with the cash flow. And then the fourth is the expense account report. Provides a good report at a high level on where expenses stand by function and object code. For December are in line with prior years and a 3% increase over 24 and 25. The district's four highest expense categories are equipment and property, salaries and benefits, and then tuition for charter private schools and VOTEX, and transportation. This actually expenses meet expectations with the DC grant project occurring and activity leading up to the start of the school year. The last is just the expenditure summary pie graph showing you that. And then other highlights, 26-27 budget update. We're in the early process. I plan on a presentation the next board meeting just to start the preliminary talks of the budget for next year. Again, as I said, our subsidies are caught up with the state budget passing. And because of the state budget passing, all of our charter school payments have been caught up. We're working on an update, the PD 363, which is the form we submit to the state for charter school tuition payment. And it appears that with the new state guidelines that our charter school payments for cyber, we'll have a decrease in that, which will help with the budget moving forward to keep on that. On this month's agenda, we have the transfer of the $5.8 million to our Fund 33, which is our capital reserve funds. Threefold for this is that one, a lot of the capital projects funds are capital projects that were identified in the 2024 capital study. Two, moving this to fund, it has a higher interest rate, so it'll allow us to gain more interest on that. And then three, this also helps us work to the goal of having our unassigned general fund balance of 8% or lower. The Stephen Foster Building, the 800 Russell Avenue, we're waiting on our closing solicitor to get, to get us a closing date. That should be happening within the next couple of weeks to close on that building. We're currently working on applying again for this year's DC grant, which is for capital projects. We've been meeting with our facilities manager and administrative group to get a list of projects, again, using that 2024 capital study. The AFR, the annual financial report, was submitted on December 5th. It was after the November 30 deadline, but early of the December 31st extension deadline. Our audit, 24-25 audit, is complete, and the presentation will be scheduled with the auditor Mark Turnley, for March board. And then we're working on some of our accounts, going through the budget that need to be reconciled with recommended budget transfer on a future board. Some of our accounts, due to either not being put in the right account or stuff like that, some of them are negative and some are positive. So we're looking at aligning that to make sure that the budget is correct, and we'll come with a recommendation for the board for transfers for that. And then currently our business office is working on end of the calendar year payroll closing, which includes tax documents, so W-2s, 1099s, getting all that done by the December 31st deadline. Any questions? Yep.
So actually, you said the payroll and W-2s are still in process?
We're in process of completing on that. Yep. And they all have to be out by the 31st of January.
Okay.
Oh, 31st January, thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
did I say December?
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. No, 31st of January, the end of the month, the end of this month. Yeah, they'll be done. They'll be done for the deadline.
And then you said for some of the accounts, but also saw that they were
Mhm.
negative, that should be reconciled from the next budget. So when we
Well-
look at some of the expenses, some of the categories
Mhm.
were negative, and you said it might have been because we were not putting codes in the right spot. Is that correct?
Correct.
And that will be remedied in, like, this will be remedied now, or that will be remedied in the new budget?
Both. Next budget's going to be remedied for us when we do it. Like, we're going to have more detail within the budget, more transparency. So things get coded and money, we know the money's in the correct budget. This one, we're going to remedy it by going through each account. We have some accounts that are, that may have never been touched, that were just rolled over last year and they put money in it. So we'll take that money, the funds in that one, and move them in the other accounts. They might have just been, like I said, coded wrong or under budgeted, or I'm not 100% sure on some of the reasons, but we'll put all that together and then it'll be done before next year's budget. It'll come on a future board. We're looking at, again, like we have the 5.8 million transferred, so we're looking at probably another one in April. So again, that's all going to be it'll come to the board for what our recommendations are for approval to align everything correctly. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Now we're going to proposal presentations. Before we do though, I want to say thank you for everyone for coming out tonight. We appreciate you all. Thank you all for showing up and for being online. And now we'll go into our presentations, starting off first with our superintendent, Mrs. Sonia Coleman, for a January report.
I almost said good morning, but good evening. So we don't have a truly beefy January report, and so because we've only been back a couple of weeks, but there are some things I want to highlight. As always, I always ground us in our mission so that we don't forget our why. Then our core beliefs. So we have our why and our what, and so now we all put that all together and we say these are our core beliefs and what we believe students can and will achieve. And as you know, at the beginning of the, not the year, because we're in a new year, in July, we put forth 2 priorities to get us towards hitting our mission and vision. And our first goal or priority is absolutely around academics and improving achievement. And I'm not reading this because I say this every single month. And then the second one is, in order to do that, we have to make sure our staff is equipped with the things they need through professional development. And then lastly, I always have an executive summary stating what it is I'm going to be covering. And it's just a high-level overview of highlights of things that are taking place in our district. The first thing I want to dive into is academics. So at the beginning of the year, you may recall the school year, us discussing MAP assessments. And what that is a benchmark assessment for ELA and math. And it really gives us a guide in terms of where students are at grade level comparative to their peers and where they should be. So it's given 3 times a year, in the fall, the winter, and the spring. So we're currently in that testing window. One school has finished already, so that's the school I'm going to highlight. The primary is wrapping up makeups as well as the high school. One of the things that happened last school year is there wasn't a huge focus on getting kids to make up the test. And so the teams at each building have done a really wonderful job ensuring that students are not only taking the fall, but they're showing up and taking the winter as well. Why that is important is we don't know what is needed to be done in terms of intervention or enrichment for a student. This allows us to know, okay, here's what we said we're going to teach students. Here are the interventions we're currently putting in place, and are they working? So this is our way of being accountable to the work that we're doing and saying, here's the evidence to support it. And so I'm going to highlight the upper elementary, and the principal happens to be here. If you want to go to the next slide, you're going to see, and everyone has a printout, the way you want to look at this is you're going to see red, and I like the colors. It's helpful. You're going to notice from fall to winter the growth that students have made in 3 months. And so I just want to spend a little time just giving you a moment to look at that. While you may see red, it is important to look at the number of students that have moved to yellow, to green as well, because that means kids are at grade level. Some are closer to grade level, and we still have a group of students that we're intervening to help them get on grade level. And as you know, evidence and research shows that students can grow 1 to 2 grade levels in a year if the proper interventions are in place. And so at the beginning of the year, we purchased Alex, which is a math intervention, and Lexia, which is a reading and language intervention for all students, whether you're on grade level or above grade level, because it's designed all the way up to the college level to provide the supports that students need as they matriculate through the grade levels. And so this shows us how our students are doing. So this is the math first, if you want to go to the next slide. And the next one was our reading. And as you can see, I'm very transparent when it comes to data. We have a group of 6th graders that I know Mrs. Johnston is working through that we're really trying to push and intervene so that group grows at the same rate as the other grade levels. And so I think it's important that everyone understands that. There are things that she's doing as a building principal. She's had parent events to show parents this data. She did it at the beginning of the year to say, here's where your students are. Here are the things you can do at home with them to help them grow as well. So we're really making a concerted effort to really look at our math and ELA, because we know if kids are not reading at above or on grade level, what happens to the other core contents as well. It's greatly impacted. So I just wanted to take a minute and highlight the upper, because they're done with their assessment. I'll share next month what the other buildings have done as well. So thank you, Ms. Johnston, for all your hard work. The next thing I want to highlight, I think did you skip a slide, or did I move a slide? There we go, is our enrollment and our attendance. And our attendance has dropped since the last time I reported by 1 percentage point. But 1 percentage point is important. November, really December, really hurt us. We had a lot of people, students, even staff out with illness. So it caused our attendance rate to drop. We're always keeping an eye on that. Each building has attendance teams in place to start mitigating and working through issues that may prevent students from coming to school. I want to do just some staff highlights, some things that you guys might not be aware of, but the high school moved out of CSI status. And so that means, and they're in it for this year because you have to stay in it for 3 years. But the data that came out this summer allowed the high school to move out of that status. And really that is attributed to the work that was done with the Algebra Summer Institute that was put in place. So this tells us that if we intervene with students, and it was 9 students that allowed us to move out of this status. Imagine what would happen if we take the same concepts that we piloted in the summer, which we are, and move it throughout the school year. What can happen for our junior, senior high school as well? So I wanted to say, let everyone know that as well, because it's so easy to say, all the things that the school isn't doing, but we don't spend enough time highlighting the great things that are happening. And these things take time to move us out of that belief that kids can't, to that belief that kids can. As most of you know, we had to do 2 flexible instruction days to work through some plumbing issues here at the high school. So it meant that the junior and senior high school had to go on virtual learning. And just so happened there were some power outages, and so which impacts attendance because kids only get credit if they show up for class. And the things that our staff at the high school did to ensure, one, kids had what they needed during this time. They did check-ins with students outside of the normal time they would have been, that they were allotted, to really allow those 2 days to run seamlessly. I didn't get one email other than, hey, you guys, power's out, and we heard that it's affecting something like 100 students. I got no complaints from anyone, no calls from parents saying that it wasn't what we expected it to be based on the information we sent out. So I really just wanted to take a moment to highlight the junior, senior high school team for that. At the primary school, just take a moment. They're working on, of course, their PBIS incentives and really focusing on care, capability, and being in control through PBIS lessons. They've rolled out additional lessons. And I'm going to send this. I look at our discipline data all the time, our referral data all the time. And I also want to take a moment that we've made, and you heard Ms. Litzenbigler talk about the adjustments that were made in special education and learning support, the addition of the classroom. As a result of those supports, just in the short period of time, referrals for that cohort is down 20%. Incidences are down 20%. That means we have wrapped services that students need to help them learn behavior modification, understand what is expected of them. And when those 2 things are in place, academics go up as well. So I just want to highlight that for our primary school. And the last staff highlight, and I just thought this was a hoot and a holler. And y'all know I'm kind of Southern. So I heard about this snowball fight at the upper. I'm like, first of all, how are they going to have a snowball fight? Well, they use paper. I'm thinking they're going to all go outside and have a snowball fight. And it was a PBIS incentive, and kids really had a great time. Staff got involved. I couldn't put all the pictures on here, but we'll get Ms. Johnston to get some posted online for everyone to see how that event went out and just how excited and happy our staff and students were. Again, I say this because when I'm out and about and folks want to say things about Sto-Rox, and I say, well, where did that come from? Why are you saying these things? These are the things that changes mindsets about what is going on in our district. And we're the ones that are absolutely in control of that narrative. All right, I'm gonna get off my soapbox for a second and do some student highlights. The board is already aware, but I want everyone else to be aware. Citizen Bank donated a little over $10,000 worth of brand new instruments to our band program at the upper elementary. We did post the pictures online, and the excitement I was there, and just to see our students light up with having these brand new instruments, it's going to do nothing but grow our music program. Also want to highlight our K-3 STEAM program and some of the designs that they're doing and connecting it to engineering as well. So kudos to what's taking place at K-6 for our students. Next month, Mr. Reed is actually going to do a full financial update, but I just want to put out there so everyone is aware of the new grant applications that we'll be going after. One is around safety, school security, and mental health. And then, of course, our public facilities improvement grants that we're in the process of applying for. So there'll be more information to come in the near future because those are due one is due on the 31st and the other one is due within the next few weeks. Operation updates. I pause here because the fence, we had a long conversation about the fence here at the high school, and we already have bids, it's under contract, but we keep getting pushed down the list. So we're gonna reach out and have some conversations about, and I'll be honest, I'm trying to be nice about it to ensure that this gets done because we have spring sports that'll be coming into play, and we want to ensure that that we have a top facility and that it's safe for everyone. So that is in the process. The high school plumbing repairs, it's really in 2 phases. I talked about this in December. The first phase, and not to bore everyone, is the women's restroom stack. That's the easiest way to explain it. And so the repairs have been completed, but we have to put in the drop ceiling. So that should be finished by Monday, this coming Monday. The second phase of that, and I just call the male's restroom side of things, where they butt up, there's a crack, but we cannot shut everything down again. So we're going to start that work in April so that we can clean up the majority of our plumbing repairs for this building. There have been several things, and I said publicly that we've known in the past that needed to be repaired. And I think it was that fear of pulling the trigger to get it done because they are costly, but that's why we have a capital improvement budget. It's earmarked just for capital improvements. And it's time that we put some time and attention here at the high school, much the same way we've done for our other 2 buildings. That said, you all are going to see here real soon some requests for proposals for the following items. Lighting, that's all lighting here. And the focus is on the junior, senior high school. And when we write for the facilities grant, the focus is going to be on the junior, senior high school. There's going to be RFPs going out for lighting, interior and exterior doors, the auditorium, windows, HVAC. And I laugh because it's just the H and the V because we're focusing on the plumbing and univents. The roofing repairs and the final piece of the plumbing to ensure that, while those are things that you may not see, and so a lot of times people say painting and things of that nature, these are things that are needed to ensure that 1, our facilities are up and running properly. 2, that it's warm. We all like to be warm in the winter and no longer putting Band-Aids on things, but fixing it the absolute correct way. Did I skip one? Is it upcoming events? That's not it.
No,
Okay. Community engagement events. We have 2 coming up. One on this Monday where we'll be passing out hats and gloves. And then the second one is tentatively scheduled for the 21st. It may be pushed because I think everyone understands. I like when events take place that it's best and final. And with some of the weather that we've had, we've not been able to finalize a lot of pieces of it. Mr. Pierce is working on those things. And what the parent appreciation piece is, really thanking our parents. Parents specifically that have students in our district. And so there'll be massages, there'll be treats for our parents, things of that nature, really to say thank you for all that they do and entrusting their children with us. I did skip it. All right. And then looking ahead, we have several committee meetings coming up. If I can have people pay close attention, there is some time and date changes on some of our committees that are coming up, committee meetings that will start again here this month and into February. And then just a reminder that there is no school tomorrow. It's a clerical day. And then there's no school on Monday for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And then I want to just give an update on where we are with the comprehensive strategic plan. We had a meeting tentatively scheduled for January 7th. I canceled it because we've been meeting, and one thing we had not done is we need to go back and refine the things that we've been doing all these meetings, taking notes, but not going back and refining things, removing things. And the team needs time to do that. So I did not want to have another meeting and we had not refined or adjusted the things we said we were gonna adjust. And so we'll get that scheduled sometime out in February. And we have 3 more meetings left to schedule so that really we can be in a good place for our finalization and summer work. As everyone knows, this isn't even due till next year, but I don't like to wait till the last minute to do things. I want to ensure that there's a lot of thought put into this, because once we move from community input, it'll go internal to our staff input as well and to leader input. So there's phases to this. And then the last thing I want to leave everyone with is that I really like to always give people a little nugget of reading and learning so that we all are truly lifelong learners. So I put a little article in there on how reading instruction has evolved really from when all of us were in school to where it is now, and why there has to be a huge focus on literacy. So there's just a small article in there for everyone to read in their leisure. And then if I might add one more thing, it's not in the presentation, and the article came out today that talked about a historical decline in violence here in Sto-Rox. And so I had the opportunity to do an interview with the Post-Gazette on Friday. Was it Friday? I'm looking at Lydia because all my dates run together. And they asked me what I thought. And I said, one, we have to thank all the individuals that are involved in helping this happen. And I named several organizations such as CURE, such as PACS, in the work that they're doing and what it does for the school. It helps change the narrative. Because when I got here, people talked about how unsafe the school was. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm here at 9 o'clock at night. And, nothing has happened to me as of yet, but that is a perception. And without data to combat that, what can you say? So now data is out to show that, one, families that live in this community care about this community, right? And the better we do as a community, the better we do as a school, we have to realize everything improves, from property values to the revenue that is generated in our community. So I did spend a little time talking about the importance of that and changing mindsets about beliefs about any one area. Because we know if one bad thing is said, people assume that it's pervasive through a school, through a community, or even to a whole group of people. So I just wanted to share that information. The article is out. The data has been released for people to really take a look at it. Any questions for me? Truancy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you know how many
So you are required to have a plan for any student that is truant. And so every student's plan varies, and we have homeschool visitors that actually will go out to the home, that they do a lot of this legwork and getting parents in to find out the why, what is preventing you from sending your child to school, and putting things in place. Because a lot of times, we don't want people to assume that kids don't want to be here. There may be mitigating factors that are preventing them from being here. So we're one, required, and it's important to do, because if you have 15% of your students not coming to school, that's 15% of your students that are not engaging in learning. It impacts your overall data. So yes, there's plans in place, but the plans vary based on what a student needs.
I think I asked that, but I'm curious, how much, like if we want our attendance rates, is it how much are in that, with that.
Yeah, and I can get you that. We run those reports all the time. And the beautiful thing is when we completely migrate over to power schools, I can just click a button and show you that percentage. But I actually have to do math as a science teacher and do division, but I'll get Mr. Messina involved because he can do it just like that to give you that information. Okay? And it varies at each school, so we'll break it down by school for you. Any other questions?
All right, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. And I also want to make a note to everyone to let it be known that this is our superintendent's first meeting as the official superintendent of our district. So congratulations to her.
Oh, thank you.
So you forgot about it. Next, we'll go into recommended new hires. Up first, we'll have Mr. Eric Alexson, foreign language teacher.
How are you all?
Good, how are you?
First of all, I want to thank you for giving this opportunity to speak to you. I come to you from a very vast background, and I started my teaching career way back in 1996, and I lived in Virginia for 7 years. And my experience with the Spanish language, I taught levels 1 through 5, and it took me back to Pennsylvania after my son was born. And so I've been teaching in Pennsylvania since then. And when I came here, the one thing that really impressed me was that when I did my lesson with the students in the Spanish 1 class, they were just looking at me like they really just wanted to learn, and their hands were going up. They were so eager to learn, and I knew that I'd made a connection with them. So I decided, you know what, these kids really need me, and they need someone with a lot of experience. And they are really, if you come into the classroom and you would like to come in anytime, you're welcome to. They are really speaking a lot of Spanish right from the get-go. So I want them to see that that's what this is about. You know, someone authentic's coming in, and you're going to speak this language. So I think they're very pleased, and I'm very pleased as well. Yeah. Do you have any questions?
You took them away from us for the most part. I mean, I can appreciate that. You sound very motivating. You sound
Yes.
welcoming. Love that. Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
guess I just want to reiterate one more time, just why Sto-Rox, of all places.
Why Sto-Rox? Because when I came here, these kids needed a teacher. They needed someone to take them in, and you know, I want to give them as much of this language as they can take before they graduate, so that they won't forget it. So that if they leave, and if perhaps they go to college, and they have to take a language in college, they have a strong background, so they don't have the fear of it. Absolutely. That's why I chose it, because I want them to.
Appreciate that.
And they, you know, like I said, that connection they made, the hands were going up during the lesson. I think you saw that on the day that I did the lesson. They were very receptive. So it's that instant connection you have with someone that you know it's going to be a good thing. Yeah. Oh, thank you very much.
Definitely want to acknowledge Senior Alexson, but I'll say that I participated in his initial interview and then his demo lesson, and it was very consistent. And so for me, a big thing is the enthusiasm for what you teach. And sometimes we do it for so long that we lose sight of the enthusiasm and the love of teaching and learning. And so to experience him and in just the questionnaire interview and the demo lesson, it was very consistent, and it was lively, and it was invigorating. And so I knew that I wanted him in this space, because I need our students to know that, like, learning, that you can love it and it can be exciting. And so that was still the deal for me. And I'm so happy that he accepted and that he's here. And I'll be honest, I haven't seen him too much, but he's rolling and he's doing it, and he's meshing in, and he still feels great about it. And so I'm happy to have you on board. But yeah, we have a Spanish teacher. He knows Spanish.
Thank you again. I would stay for this meeting, but I actually drive 45 minutes. I live south of here. So anybody know what the roads are like out there?
Well, thank you. We appreciate you
Thank
coming.
you.
Really
Thank you.
appreciate that.
Pues sí, yo puedo decir algo en español. Sí, yo me alegro que ahora yo sea el profesor aquí en este colegio de Sto-Rox y es mi intención, yo intento continuar por muchos años con los estudiantes porque ellos necesitan un buen profesor para aprender el idioma de español. There you go.
Agreed.
Yeah. Thank you again.
That's what I'm talking about. Up next, we'll have our interview for our Region 2 school board position from Ms. Tyra Grant.
Hello, that was like my intro because I actually am for the first time standing in front of you guys, kind of nervous. So, hi, I'm Tyra. I am interviewing for the Region 2 board member spot position. So, you want me to just talk about myself?
Who
Or
are
what you
you?
want me to
Who
do?
are you? Where you from? And then we'll go into the. Oh, we know who you are, but just break it down for other folks who don't know you, and then we'll continue to go into things.
Okay, so I'm again Tyra Grant. I'm originally from Youngstown, Ohio. I got here 5 years ago. What brought me here is a nonprofit organization called Steel City Impact that is actually within this school, junior, senior high school. We take care of our 7th through 10th grade students during the school year and also during the summer for our 6-week summer program. That's the very short of it.
So why do you want to be a school board member?
Two of you guys on this board actually heard this story already. But to be honest, before I came here, I was in a very, very dark place. I didn't know if I was going to even be here anymore as far as physically. And so as I'm balled up on my couch, I get a phone call from our board president, who is Simon Aries. And he's like, hey, I know you've been wanting to, be back with kids and do all these things. So I have a position for you. It's the executive director with Steel City Impact. You want to do it? And I was like, yeah, okay. So that was the first sign where it says like, God's not done with me yet. So then when I got here and I really got immersed in here, it really turned, everything over. It restored my purpose. So to be honest, this school saved me. So I think it's more important for me to do the same. People say that I've lived multiple lives. I've been a WNBA player. I've been a civilian in the military. I've been a police officer. And now I'm this. I don't know if I missed anything. And I had little small lives in the midst of it. But once I stopped playing basketball, I was all over the place trying to find my purpose. And one of the things they say when you're trying to find yourself, lose yourself in the service of others. So that's what I've been doing my entire life. I knew from college, being at Penn State, when they told me to make a life quote. And I said, if you can just change the life or impact the life of just one child, you've lived a successful life. So my purpose is always, and as I've navigated from playing basketball, was always to find this and to be here. And so now I'm here and I know exactly what I'm supposed to be. And it's just been cemented for the past 5 years that I've been here. So that is why, because it is important for me, that was poured into me, to now pour into them.
So being someone who works in the building around the kids and community for the most part, why be a board member now? And what have you seen to make you say, you know what, now it's time for me to go up on the board and help out?
Well, I had to listen.
And be transparent.
Oh, well, first it was because I didn't know I had to live here, live in McKees Rocks to do that. So I made a conscious decision a year ago to move here in the city. But as I've been here over the course of 5 years and being in here, I've seen a big need for change in education, in the policy, things that I brought and I've been brought to my attention. When I asked, I said, why is it such a struggle when kids get here? What's the problem? And so as I did a deep dive and I tried to look into what could be a cause, not the ultimate cause, but what could be. And I learned that there was a ratification in 2013 that K through 8th and I've been, I've talked to the guidance counselors that you only have to pass 2 out of your 5 core classes to continue on. And I felt like that was something that for me needed to be changed, because I see now that when our kids get to 9th grade and all the other grades, now you're telling them that they have no choice, like they have to know everything. But I knew that that was a place with Still City Impact. I could at least try to fill in the gap and teach them cursive writing, teach them math, teach them reading, have the tutors come in and help our kids in the areas that they could during the after school time. Also, I'm a sports person at the end of the day. How do we restore our pride? I've been working with Mr. Phelps, the AD, to now we are going to start working with our 4th through 6th graders, 4th through 8th graders, to teach them the fundamentals of sports, so that when they get here, it is a pipeline like they have in different other suburban places and things like that. How can we teach them at a young age to, move over? So I've been trying to, over these past 5 years, to navigate and figure out how I can fit in and fill in. And I feel like this right here is just another spot where I can now try to make some major changes that I feel like only I can do with being with you.
Any questions from the board?
So, as a board member, like none of us make changes solely. We
Mhm.
do it as a group. I think that's important to know and understand. I think. Do you hear me?
I was asked to your mic on.
Yeah, I think that's really important. I know people have come in here before and said, I'm going to come and be a part of this, and I don't like how this looks, and I'm going to change. Like, we have to work together.
Mhm.
My concern is being able to separate the work from the board, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, work tired, board tired. Yeah, sometimes they do complement each other, but yeah, that's my biggest concern, I think. Or yeah, 6, 7, whatever. My hands did that, and that's where it came from. But yeah, I think it's important to remember, like, we work as a team. And I think, like I said before, a lot of people have come and stood there and like, I'm just going to I don't like how that looks. I'm going to come in and change it. We have to do it together.
If you don't mind, can I, before you even answer, can I piggyback off of that really quick?
Mhm.
I do honestly believe in. We'll make a decision next week, not tonight, anyways. But I do believe with what she's saying, trying to find that distinction of you had the connections in the buildings with teachers and everybody else, staff, everybody now, to where now you become a board member, you're going to end up separating. Even if you try not to, you're going to no matter what, because you're going to get the question of the board member, why this? Well, I can't tell you. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
that might happen. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, but I want to say that real quick before you respond. That's all.
Absolutely. And I take all of that into consideration. And as I'm processing, the great thing when we talk about a team is I've been on a lot of them. And I've definitely understood that as I've been here and been a part of this team at Sto-Rox, the biggest thing that I've always tried to do, even with my program and with myself, is try to fit in where I could get in order to make the best impact, not just for myself, not just for the program, not just for the school, but the community as a whole. So that is something that I take very seriously, is playing the role and being a part of a team and doing what it takes as a team to be successful, not just be a one-dimensional person and not feel like I'm just, oh, well, I'm a star. No, the only way we shine is together. The only way that things are changed in a major way and actually stay changed is when you do it together. So that is where I've always been. And when it comes to having to differentiate between two different things, I feel like I do that every day, trying to understand, the difference of, hey, in order to be a executive director, in order to be a friend, in order to be this, in order to be that, in order to be different things to the children, I have to be the mom and the leader and the this and the that. But most importantly, sometimes it's to know I can't be your friend. But I'm going to love you and I'm going to do all of those things. So in order to wear many hats, sometimes that's what is needed in order to make, things go the way that they're supposed to. And at the end of the day, if that's something that, one person can accept, I think that through communication and navigating that appropriately, I think we should be able to keep the relationships that Steel City has, because those are two different things. If you're asking me about Steel City, that's something. And if you're asking me about Tyra, that's something. But then you're asking me about board decisions. Most of the adults and staff in here know that is not something, that we have to discuss, or that's needed to be discussed at certain times.
Anybody else? Any questions?
I'm just curious, like mentioned, that you had, and how did you manage how the team, like, what hat you were gonna wear? As you mentioned, like, you're very involved, which I think is, and I hear the concern of some of the other board members that sometimes you have to switch hats. You have, like, an example of a time where you had to sort of navigate that space?
Absolutely. So in my current role, I have, when you are employing people that are your friends, and people that you are close to, and you have to understand that there's a difference between Tyra outside of work and Tyra as a professional, Tyra as the executive director, and knowing that there's certain decisions that need to be made, but I think you make them with patience, you make them with care and understanding of the situation, and you have to have communication, a lot of communication in order to make that situation mesh. With the kids, I mean, that's something that I have to do all the time, but I think it's just maintaining the boundaries in everything that I do is maintaining who I am, my integrity, and also the integrity of what it is that I want to have outside of that with that particular person or with that child, or even with the parent that is a part that I might know that has a kid a part of the program, knowing that there's no special treatment, there's no this or that, we're all going to be treated equally, and all that. But I think being very patient, having a lot of communication with that person or within that situation in order to navigate it.
Any other questions? I want you to know it's what we do to every person interested in coming on the board, right? Just so you know, right? So it's not just you. We ask questions too. We ask questions, but before next question, I actually ask you if you have any questions.
I do. And so we've kind of talked about this, the importance of, and you've alluded to it, the boundaries. Because you're going to be in the building. How are you? And you talked about boundaries, but I'm going to say more, especially since my office is right down here. And while I have an open door policy, there's policies and procedures for everything. And if you know nothing else about me, I believe in following policies and procedures. How will you navigate people's wants from their needs and from what is required by law?
Are you referring to like just people in the building?
Right, because now as a board member, you're standing in the gap representing the entire school body, parents, and community, right? And so you could be, and Cameron and I had this conversation, people will stop you and want X, Y, and Z.
Mhm.
So how do you navigate their wants, needs from what the law says we can and can't do,
Mhm.
and what is required? How will you navigate that?
For me, again, it's communication. If someone is coming up to me asking information that I'm not privy to give, I mean, I was a police officer as well. There's certain things that people would come to me and try to ask me the law. That's not something that I can talk about. I can't talk about open investigations. I can't talk about these things. These are things that I cannot talk about. And if there's any animosity, after that answer, then that's where your how you communicate. Do you know properly how to communicate de-escalation? Those tactics. Do you know how to properly talk to somebody to make sure that they understand that this isn't a me and you thing? It has nothing to do with that. It's just the fact that this is something that I can't do. So that's something I had to do a lot, through policing, is that maintain that this is just something I can't talk about. And I'm sorry if that doesn't, I'm not trying to offend you or evade the question. It's just at this time, this is something that I can talk about.
Mhm, mhm. Thank you for that. You and I have talked, but I think it's important that everyone here understands your understanding of that.
Yes.
No other questions? Go ahead. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for.
Since you're in the building, I was wondering, have any experience like bringing people in? Like, I was just feeling like I'm not from the district and I don't have a child in the district, so sometimes it's hard for me to like feel connected to this building. But since you're in the building, I feel like it's important to like bring more people in to the things. And I'm wondering if you have any experience of bringing people in to like be a part of it. I get the vibe that you might. But like if you could share any, I would love it.
So part of our program, we do a lot of community service. So one of the things that we do outside of our family events, and granted, it is families that are associated with the school, but it doesn't just, like take away anybody if you want to bring a guest or anything like that. But we do a part of our program actually go out into the community in different parts of the community and feed, anybody who's hungry, whatever. So we do bring them in that capacity. Outside of employment, I have employed people that are not in the district, not from the school, to bring them in and see a different perspective. Outside of the stigma that maybe of Sto-Rox, to say, look, sometimes if you just take a little bit of patience, a little bit of time to see the kids and feel, the things that they go through, you might come out. I don't think you might, I think you will come out with a different perspective. So I think outside of employing them and actually bringing our program to people to see our kids, to be a part of our kids in different capacities, whether that's taking them to Allegheny General Hospital and having them go see open heart surgery. That's exposing our kids to other people so that they can see, the dynamic of who they are. So.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you. We appreciate you. We're going to vote next week on this.
Looking light on you. Real light. Looking light on you.
Hey, listen, I've been in the hot seat, not in a bad way, but I can take it.
We're going to vote next week on the position. And after that, if you get the yes, then you'll be on our board. All right. So thank you.
so
Appreciate
much.
you.
Have a good night, guys.
Thank you.
All right, now we'll get into our non-consent agenda. Up first, waive and approve this reading of the the December 4th minutes of the Sto-Rox School District Board of Directors organization meeting. And then B, approve, ratify the bills for the following funds. Turn over to Mr. Reed.
Thank you. That would just be the board payable list that you guys all had. So I don't know if anybody had any questions on anything specific. All right. And then next, you want me to go through the next one?
Please.
Yep. Okay. Next, approve a resolution 2601 Taxpayer Relief Act, Act 1, limiting any tax increase published by the PD adjusted index for the 26-27 fiscal year of 5.53. Number 3, approve the resolution to transfer the $5.8 million from the general fund to the Fund 33 PSLAF to take advantage of the higher interest rate and ensure sufficient funding is available to help fund capital projects needed, including but not limited to those priority projects identified in the district's May 2025 capital study, along with newly identified and emerging capital project needs. 4, approve the business manager to transfer the funds, capital reserve funds from the First National Bank Fund 39 to the PSLAF Fund 33 in order, again, to access a better interest rate and consolidate restricted capital project funds. Number 5, declare the district-owned 2012 Chevy 1500 work truck obsolete and authorize its disposal via sale through a sealed bid process. Vehicle will be sold as is, and the buyer will be responsible for the transfer documentation and related costs. And then 6 is approve the Parkway West general operating and jointure budget for the 26-27 as follows. The Parkway West general operation budget is $10,147,639. The Parkway West budget would be $1,628,684. And then below that, it would be the Sto-Rox District estimated share of the budget for the general operating budget, $319,126.77. And then the Parkway joint budget, $24,293.01. Questions?
Thank you, sir. Can you please explain, or the CRO or superintendent, explain what number 2 means for everybody to hear it, please, out loud?
Do you want to? Yep.
Thank you.
So with the Act 1, the gambling proceeds, districts have the option to raise to the index or to seek an exception to go beyond that. So what you are doing, similar to what you did last year, is you are saying, for the record, we are not going to ask to exceed that because that window is closing. So that doesn't mean you're automatically going to raise taxes, but you've limited your opportunity to raise taxes. So you've capped it. You're saying to the community, we will not even exceed that at this point. As he puts the budget together, shares it with you, you do the Q&A back and forth in May, then you'll have a defined amount, whether it's no increase, and if that's the case, I have to endorse that, or is it a partial increase, a portion of the index or to the index? So last year we did to the index. You approved that recommendation. There's so much uncertainty with federal programs, different things that it has benefited the district. Will that level be recommended this year? Don't know. Too soon to tell. But you're just capping it, and you're saying to the community, we're not going to seek that exception that would allow us to go to the highest level possible.
Thank you, ma'am.
Make
Appreciate
sense?
that.
Okay.
Now we'll move on to operations. Approve the following ABC transportation employees for Sto-Rox School District. Accept Dundas Truth projects awarded for Rebecca Ray, classroom projects, headphones for Chromebooks. Amy Rosenau, classroom projects, game for color and number matching. Catherine Weninger, I think I messed it up last time too, sorry. Classroom project, keeping our learners warm and read. I'm so sure it's ready to shine. I'm supposed to be up there. Okay. Keeping out learners warm and read to shine. I know, but yes, y'all just corrected me. I'm gonna make sure I say it right now. All right, Amanda Shalin, classroom project, teacher paid teacher gift card. Alexis Welsh, classroom projects, fitness trackers for 15 students. And Alexis Zongetti, classroom projects, clean room for a new year, disinfecting wipes. Number 3, accept donation of 350 sets of pajamas, focus on renewal for the primary center. Number 4, accept donation of toys and supplies to the primary center from the Benjamin Benefit Foundation. Retroactively approved the 2D mechanical system plumbing proposal for the following prepares as junior and senior high school in accordance to accordance with 12/4/25 resolution that authorized immediate emergency repairs. Mr. Simpson, is he still here? You want to talk about this, please, sir?
Yeah, the plumbing.
I thought you was lost.
Wait till I get up there so you can hear me, sorry. Yeah, the plumbing repairs, as Mrs. Coleman had referenced, was in a female stack. We also were working in the faculty restroom right outside of in the staff room there. I appreciate you guys, letting us do those fit days. We were able to get a large crews in here and get a lot of work done during that time. We're finally, we needed to stop putting Band-Aids on things. And this is that first step. It was that first step in the right direction to really begin to rebuild the infrastructure here at the junior senior high school. So I appreciate you guys supporting it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
What's up? Accepted donation of $75 to the Upper Elementary House System Activity Fund from Pierogi Plus. Accepted donation of 7.5 cubic feet refrigerator for the district admin office from Scott Reed. Thank you, sir. Approved the quote from Website Management System and Development from Educational Networks for $4,020. Retroactively approved the CDW quote for Chromebooks paid with Title I funds. Retroactively approved the invoices for Frontline to add the recruiting, hiring, Frontline Central modules to the annual subscriptions. Approved the CDW Government LLC invoice to renew Google Workspace for Education Plus for the 26-27 school year. Approved the facility request on January 19th for a hat and glove collection in the junior high school to cafeteria in collaboration with the WWTCP and Sto-Rox School District from 2 to 4 p.m. Who is that? I thought so, but that's not that proper acronym. No, that. Yeah. WTTP, not WWTTP. That's why I want to clarify. Approved the facility request for January 21st for Parent Appreciation Night in the junior senior high school cafeteria and gymnasium from 5:30 to 8 p.m. Approved the facility request for NANS Martial Arts Center to use the Upper Elementary School gymnasium and cafeteria for a charity exhibition to raise money for veterans on April 18th, 2026. Approved the MOU with Wins Girls for programming for grades 3 through 12. Approved facility request at the Upper Elementary School gymnasium for Sto-Rox with the Vikings banquet on Sunday, January 18th from 4 to 9 p.m. Approved affiliate request, the Primary Center Gymnasium for Sto-Rox with the Vikings basketball program from 5:30 to 7:30 Monday through Thursday every week from January 15th, 2026 into the second week of May. Any questions about operations? Any comments? Co-curricular leadership, approved, ratified the filter matrix as presented. Any questions? Number 2, accept the donation of $20 for the McDonald's High School Sports Digital Fundraiser Day. Accept donation of $6,000 from Rich Sircone Memorial Golf Outing for football field maintenance. Accept the proceeds from the T-shirt fundraiser for the athletic department for $450.50 from All American Publishing, LLC. Accept the donations from the following people for track suits for the middle school boys basketball team. The total donations is $910. Brittany Linson-Bigler, Janet Connors, Tony Paul, Randy Trump, Annie Yakowski, Ed Pierce, Don Marshalls, Julie Wood, Ashley Votecki, Charles Greer, AJ Davis, and Tony Strong Foundation. Thank you all. Approved the fundraiser at the upper elementary of snowball ticket sales to be used for snacks and decorations. Leftover funds will go to the Sto-Rox Upper Elementary Activity Fund for student activities. Any questions, comments, concerns? Special assignments. Approve the Sto-Rox School Board Director Committee Plan. Approve the final reading and adaptation of the following board policies. Policy 610, purchases subject to bid quotation. Approve the first reading of the following board policies. Policy 100, comprehension. 106, guides for plan instruction. 112, guidance counseling. 140.1, extracurricular participation by charter students. 146, student services. Is that right? F, charter, cyber charter? Never mind, okay. Jeez. Approve the job description for student services coordinator position. Approve, ratify the following professional development matrix as presented. Any questions about any of these? Comments? Retroactively approved December 22nd through 23rd, 2025 to be registered as a flexible instruction day for the junior senior high school due to emergency plumbing repairs. Approved service agreement for Children Institute beginning January 2026. Mrs. Linson Bigler, are you here still?
I jumped online. I'm so sorry.
Oh, she's quick. She don't play no games.
I'm sorry. My kids were asking for me, but I'm here. So this is a contract to provide 10 hours of educational services per week while a student is at a partial hospitalization program due to a mental health concern.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Go handle your kids.
Thank you.
Number 4, approve the MOU with Allegheny Intermediate Unit Head Start Agency from January 1, 2026, December 31, 2026 to help coordinate communication and transitions between programs. I'm having a problem tonight. Jeez. Man, it might be. Approve the Learn Well agreement for student support in a medical facility for 10 weeks. Approved additional cost of $150 for Martha Hoover, Sandy Lorque, and Scott Reed to attend the PASBO conference in Pittsburgh that was previously approved on December 4th, 2025. Any questions about any of that? I'd like to skip personnel, of course, and go to our solicitor. You have anything, ma'am? Thank you. Any committees have anything for tonight? Questions, comments, concerns? You have anything, ma'am? All right. No public comment. No one signed up. Public comment. At this point in time, we will break for executive session. We'll go into the superintendent's office. So you all can stay in here. Please eat some food. Please eat what you can. We will not be coming back after our meeting. So again, thank you all very much. And again, I want to give a shout out and congrats to our superintendent, officially superintendent as of January 1. So thank you, man. Congratulations. Thank y'all. Have a good night.